panelists, we are honored to present our study. I am Tina Matias.
Ako si Katrina Malyari.
Hello, my name is Christian Badut.
Hi everyone, I'm Arito Matsuyama from Sensi Puerto.
In recent years, rising price of goods and services have affected many aspects of daily life, especially in education. Students now face greater financial stress because of school-related costs, such as printing, materials, transportation, and tuition are increasing. World Bank 2023. UNESCO 2022 also warns that when education costs rise, access to learning becomes more difficult, especially for lower-income families. The purpose of this study is to determine the impact of price increase on academic performance among senior high school students at Yangkwang Bukit School. Increasing the costs related to school has adverse effects on students' participation in activities and group projects that are vital ingredients of integral education. Activities conducted in schools such as field trips, competition, sports, or clubs come along with additional fees for registration and uniforms, materials, and transportation. With the rise in these costs, students whose budgets are limited may have compromised before the such enriching activities which in return affect their socialization skills, development of leadership skills, and involvement in school. In the Philippines, inflation remains a challenge. The Philippine Statistics Authority, PSA 2025, reported that education services inflation rose from 3.6% in 2023 to 4.3% in 2024, contributing significantly to overall inflation, 3.2%. In Negros Occidental and Bacolod City, educational services inflation hit 16.4% in July 2024, driving the surge in school fees around the start of the academic year. This trend makes it harder for the families with limited income to sustain students' participation. To understand this issue, this study acquires Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, which states that basic needs such as financial stability must be met before individuals can focus on higher goals like learning and achievement. Studies in educational setting confirm that unmet basic needs led to reduced motivation and engagement in school tasks. For example, Jane 2022 emphasized that financial insecurity disturbs students' attention and lowers participation, especially in collaborative settings. Similarly, Dar and Sackville 2022 found that Maslow's theory remains relevant in the 21st century learning environment, especially when students' economic needs interfere with academic success. When students worry about money, their ability to focus on schoolwork, collaborate in group activities, and remain motivated deadlines. The main goal of this research is to assess the impact of rising prices on academic performance among senior high school students at Yangkwang Bukit School. The study identifies how financial strains affect students' motivation, collaboration, and academic output. It also aims to offer recommendations to support a more inclusive and affordable learning environment for students of all economic backgrounds.
Statement of the problem. This study aims to reduce the impact of the price increase on academic performance among senior high school students at Yangkwang Bukit High School. Additionally, this research seeks to answer the following question: how much has the product or price of the product increased in terms of transportation fee, school supplies, load internet, or internet? What is the general rate average of senior high school students? Third, there are significant relationship between price increase and academic performance of senior high school students.
Hypothesis HO. There is no significant relationship between price increase and academic performance among senior high school students. HA. There is a significant relationship between price increase and academic performance among senior high school students.
Significance of this study. This study aims to provide valuable information which will help in better understanding solutions regarding the effect of price increases on academic performance. Students. This research will benefit students by helping them understand how rising prices affect their financial situation, participation, stress. It will also provide insight into strategies that they can use to manage these challenges. Teachers and school administrators. By investigating the impact of rising prices of academic performance, teachers and administrators can be guided to help them create policies that support reducing financial barriers and encourage student participation. Parents and guardians. The findings will help parents and guardians evaluate whether the rising cost of school activities are just justified in a system and plan on supporting their children's education more effectively. Future researchers. This study will serve as a foundation for future researchers on the impact of educational cost on student achievement and student participation, which could lead to broader studies that improve student engagement despite financial challenges.
Scope and delimitation. The study will focus on senior high school students at Yangkwang Bukit School who experience price increasing in academic-related matters. The primary aims of this study is to assess the effects of these price increases on students' academic performance. The study will address how increased costs influence the involvement of students' budgetary allocation and participation in school events and group work. By exploring and asking each students at Yang Kwangguki School who are experiencing the financial challenges related to school, the study excludes junior high school students and elementary students and does not examine the impact on schooling or teachers. The research will utilize survey questionnaires with selected students and will not cover price variation not from schools or group work. Definition of terms. To clearly define the major concepts applied in this research, the following terms are operationally defined when used in this study. Financial adjustment. It denotes the actions or measures implemented by students to counteract higher costs, borrowing materials, splitting costs, or reduce participation in some activities. Group project. It refers to all collaborative extracurricular or academic assignments given to a group of students which might include buying materials, creating outputs, or being part of school presentations.
Price increase. It means the extra amount of money that students need to spend for school activities, materials, and group works compared to past school years at Yongkwangguchi School. School activity. Any organized program, event, or extracurricular activity sponsored by the school or taken outside the school building which involves student participation, either volunteer or part of the school expectations.
This research aimed to assess the impact of price increases on academic performance among senior high school students at Yongkwangguki School. Thus, this conceptual framework will help the researcher fully explain and achieve the goals of this research. Now, let me discuss the conceptual framework of the study, which follow the input process output or IPO model. In this research, the input includes price increases and academic performance, and process covers questionnaire and survey. Finally, the output present price increases on academic performance among senior high school students at Yongkwangguki School. Presented in Figure 1 will be the research paradigm of the study. This will show the impact of the price increases on the school activities in group project of the senior high school student at Yongkwangguki School. The respondents will be randomly selected and will be given a survey questionnaire to find out their views on how they're managing it and impact of the price increases in terms of academic performance. The result will be assessed by comparing the survey result to their experience. The desired outcome of this research is to find out their views on how they are managing the price increases on group project and school activities. In this research, the researcher formulated a conceptual framework guided by appropriate economic and educational theories. The researcher examined how price increases influence student engagement in school activities and group work. The price elasticity of demand theory is one of the theories that inform this research. Price elasticity of demand theory. The theory guiding this study establishes inversely that as a demand for a product rises, the price tends to drop and vice versa. Educationally, this theory assists in the analysis of how student inclination or capacity to engage in extracurricular and academic group activity drops with an increase in related costs. Another applicable theory is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a theory that posits that individual will first attend to basic needs before addressing higher order social or academic aspiration. Higher prices could encourage students and parents to divert spending from school activities toward other purposes, affecting their involvement in group activity. To support this argument, the paper also cites the theory of learned behavior, citing the ways in which attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control shape people's decision-making, in such as much as cost rise, the students perceive control over their capacity to participate in project work activities will be lowered, hence less participation. The researcher integrated these theories to investigate the impact of financial changes on students' conduct in the school environment of Yongkwangguki School. Theoretical framework shows that when price increases, students face budget constraints. This in turn reduces their participation in school activities and engagement in group projects. These effects are influenced by perceived financial burden, priority on basic needs, and financial control based on the theory of planned behavior. This diagram presents the theoretical framework of our study. It illustrates how price increases in school activities and projects affect students' participation. Guided by price elasticity, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the theory of planned behavior. The framework explains that the higher cost reduces affordability, shift priorities toward basic needs, and lower students' perceived control. Once the economic burden reaches a threshold, participation may significantly decline, especially among financially vulnerable students. Overall, this theory explains the lower engagement in school activities and group projects among students at Yongkwangguki School.
Review of related literature and study. This research aims to assess the impact of price increase on academic performance among senior high school students at Yongkwangguki School. Thus, this conceptual framework will help the researchers fully explain and achieve the goals of this research. These chapters include the related studies or literature that support the research gap and solution. It includes foreign literature and local literature.
RRL. Many students report struggling with financial management, particularly when covering daily expenses related to school projects and activities. Alpista and Figure 2024, this financial burden can lead to stress and hinder their academic performance. A study of Martinez 2022 highlight that price increasing in education, material, and activity led to decreased participation in school events as students prioritize essential expenses over extracurricular involvement.
Furthermore, a quantitative analysis by Phillips 2023 revealed that increased financial aid correlates with higher students' engagement in school activities, indicating that financial support can mitigate the negative effects of price increases. O'Donnell et al. 2024 found that financial stress negatively impacts students' sense of belonging and engagement in school activities, indicating that rising costs can hinder participation in collaborative projects.
Financial support plays a crucial role in managing student expenses, which include costs for food, transportation, and project necessities. Moneva et al. Found that students with adequate financial supports are better able to manage their educational and living expenses, which is essential for their academic success. The relationship between financial support and student expenses is significant, with the moderate positive correlation coefficient was 0.544, which was statistically significant with the p-value less than 0.5, indicating that as a financial support increases, students tend to spend more effectively on their educational needs.
Research conducted by Villanueva 2023 indicated that increased costs associated with group projects such as materials and transportation have led to a decline in collaborative efforts among students. The study emphasized that financial constraints hinder students' ability to work together effectively, impacting their overall learning experience. Studies have shown a correlation between participation in school activities and academic performance. For instance, students involved in extracurricular activities often achieve higher academic outcomes compared to their peers who do not participate, suggesting that financial support for these activities could enhance overall student performance. With the aid of a quantitative study designed by Jayoling and Manigo 2024, the study looks at how teenagers think of and act about money affect how satisfied they are with their financial situation overall. Lastly, research indicates that financial barriers significantly affect student participation in extracurricular activities. A study highlighted that increased costs associated with school events and projects can lead to lower participation rates, particularly among students from lower income families. Kano 2022. Synthesis. Financial support is crucial for students' educational experience. Russell et al. 2025 found a positive correlation between increased financial support and effective spending on educational needs. Philip 2022 showed that financial aid boosts student engagement, even with rising costs. However, O'Donnell et al. 2024 noted that financial stress decreases students' sense of belonging and participation.
Research will employ quantitative descriptive correlation type of research. In this study, the quantitative descriptive correlation approach will be applied to determine the relationship between price increases and the student participation in school activities and group projects among senior high school students at Yongkwang Group High School. This design is appropriate as it enables the researcher to collect measurable data and examine the extent to which variation in cost may be associated with changes in participation levels.
Research locale. The study will be conducted at Yang Kwangbuchi School located at Mendez, Cavite during the academic year 2025 to 2026. Yang Kwangbuchi School is a private institution offering a wide range of educational programs including kindergarten, complete elementary, junior high schools, and senior high schools with strands in ABM, STEM, and UMS. The school is chosen due to its diverse students population and its voucher program, which provides educational opportunities to students facing financial difficulties. Many students find it challenging to afford their studies and participate in school activities or group projects during the rising expenses. The voucher program allows these students to continue their education without financial burden, making Yang Kwangbuchi School is an ideal setting to study the impact of price increases on school activities and group projects.
Research respondents. The respondents shall be recruited from Yangkwang Goke School, preferable senior high school students, since the research will make use of survey, questionnaire, and quantitative analysis, and researchers will ensure equal chance of being selected from each academic strand STEM, ABM, and UMS. By selecting respondents using simple random sampling, in addition to be able to provide valid data, and researchers will conduct and collect the questionnaires or personally from the respondents.
Sampling techniques. To gather participants, a simple random sampling procedure will be used to study the impact of price increase on academic performance among senior high school students at Yang Kwangbuchi School. With the total population of senior high students, a simple random sampling procedure will be used to gather who will be respondents of the research. This will be done by writing a number and randomly picking a number by making use of roulette up until the number sample needed is obtained. After the number of samples needed obtained, we will track the number by finding what name beside the number in the list of names on senior high school students at Yang Kwang Goche School.
Research instrument. The main research instruments used in this study is a struct questionnaire by the researchers to gather data on the impact of price increases on academic performance among senior high school students of Yang Kwang Goche School. The survey was split into 3 sections. Number 1, price increase. Number 2, academic. Number 3, relationship between two variables. A 5-point Likert scale, strongly disagree. Number 1, the lowest. And 2, strongly agree, the highest, is employed in measuring the responses. The instrument will be validated by research advisors to ensure clarity, reliability, and appropriateness for the target respondents.
Data gathering procedure. The researcher will send a letter to admin of Yang Kwang Goche High School, requesting permission to conduct a research study in seeking assistance from statistician on the research instrument of researchers will say as to questionnaire, hey, will you use valid or not valid, or to gather the general contradiction source of data using a Likert scale or rating scale used to measure opinion, attitude, or behavior. Then the survey questionnaire will be distributed towards the means Google from the field by using or field can by senior high school students at Yang Kwang Goche School. At secondary source of data, researchers will gather to use the information from internet to compile the necessary data for the study. After gathering the information of the research, will collect and analyze the data of gives the correspondence interpretation for the for the study. Okay.
Reliability and validity of the instrument. Survey questionnaire will be used by the researchers as their research instrument. The survey questionnaires will be measured by reliability with the use of rating scale. Surveys are reliable. All of the self-made questionnaires should be reliable and valid for the researchers to actually use in asking the participants about the impact of price increase on academic performance among senior high school students at Yang Kwang Goche School. Statistical treatment. Number 1, mean and standard deviation will be used in the statement of the problem number 1. The formula is mean is equal to sum of observation, divide the total number of observations. Number 2, person's product moment correlation will be used in the statement of the problem number 2 and 3.